Exactly. And I remember there was a channel, I can't remember what it was years ago now, somebody in the comments I'm sure will know it, where his whole goal was just getting as many dislikes as he could. But YouTube didn't know that. YouTube just knew, oh man, interaction, engagement, and his channel did great. And I thought that was.
I think it's common knowledge that wrestling is kind of scripted, that there's not actually a big actual brawl that people probably kind of know. And, not that the moves don't hurt, but that people expect, hey, this is planned out a little bit.
Yeah.
What about boxing as of late? We have Jake Paul with these, these huge pay-per-views, people paying tons of money. He's winning match after match. What do you think? Is this scripted? Like, is it script? Is there any kind of planning that goes into it? Is this just paid wrestling? What is your opinion on that?
I'm kind of in two worlds, because on the one hand, I saw Tyrone Woodley punch Jake Paul in the face pretty hard. And you can't tell your brain, you don't get knocked out by that punch. That's one you've got to ignore. However, on the flip side, he didn't really follow up as you would expect a fighter to follow up. So given, the pageantry around Jake Paul and all the hoopla, put it like this: if somebody put a gun to my head and said, you 100% have to give me a decision, nearly all of my being says, I'm sure it is legit, and I'm sure it's just smart. Jake Paul's going against Tyrone Woodley, who is not a boxer, probably doesn't know how to follow up properly, doesn't have the experience. But I'm not sure, which I don't know what that says about me, or I don't know what it says about the fights, but there's always something in every single time that Jake Paul fights where my eyebrow goes up and I'm like, that doesn't seem to be a fighter trying to win a brawl. But I don't know. Obviously, it's not as over the top as wrestling is. Of course not. They've been training hard. And I mean, look, I don't personally, honestly, I don't like him. I don't know him. But, some of the stuff Jake Paul has done has rubbed me up the wrong way. But you cannot fault the man. His success is absolutely incredible. Like, the dude is a megastar making millions of dollars. So, why on earth would you try and criticize that? But as for the fights, what do you think? I'm massively intrigued to see what you got out of it.
Well, personally, I like Jake Paul. I think he's a genius at marketing. I think he's doing his thing, making his money. And if I had the gun to my head, just like when I have natty or nots, I'm going the opposite. I think it's planned. I'm thinking that they know how much money there is. And as soon as he loses that match, no one is going to watch ever again. That's it. It's done. So if he loses that match, it's done. How easy it would be to, hey, I'm going to pay you $200,000 for this fight, and let's just try to make sure that I win this somehow. You look good. Hit me. Don't make it look fake, but let me win. I'll give you a rematch. I'll pay you $2 million the next time.
Yeah.
And get a tattoo on your leg, and we'll make it cool and be funny. And literally, these guys know what to do. They're punching them, and it's going to hurt, but if you don't follow it up and if you don't keep on them, it's very easy to make a boxing match go slightly one-sided. You just throw a few punches a little bit, just like a quarterback can make one bad pass, and it can make the difference between winning or losing. That pitcher throwing that one fastball where he tells the guy the third pitch is going to be a fastball down the middle. That's all it takes. You don't need to throw a 50-mile-an-hour pitch every single time to throw a fight. So just to make it look good, I really think that's what's going on here. And I think he's going to continue to win over and over again, and he's going to make millions and millions of dollars. This is my personal opinion. Might be wrong.
No, I could argue it. Like, I do not have the courage of my convictions to argue it, because I think a huge part of me thinks that you're right, or some part of me thinks that you does. And I always say this because some people say, it's this, it's that, it's rigged, it's blah, blah, blah. It's business, though. This is the thing when it comes to business. You're allowed to complain as much as you want, and so you should. But if they are making consistently crazy buy rates, of course they're going to keep doing it, because there is a thirst out there to see these fights. And I'll be the first to put my hand up and say I'm part of the problem. I love these freak show fights because I like boxing in general. But again, when you sort of have I get YouTuber turned boxer taking on MMA fighter turned boxer. It's like, who even signed off on this? Who even said that it was okay? And the trash talk beforehand. Yeah, I find the whole thing fascinating, but if somebody right now said, I've got to be on the defense team for the Jake Paul is having real fights thing, I would say you need to get somebody else. I don't have the evidence to try and back this up. But if it is entertainment and you're getting entertaining stuff out of it and you're making a bunch of cash, it's hard to, like I say, it's hard to rag on them. More power to them, fair play. Like, even the people I don't like, they would I love to be in that position? Of course that I would. Of course, who wouldn't want to be in that position? That, as we've talked about, is the dream, so to speak. So I don't like it when people start kicking down on those kind of guys. It's like, well, maybe it's better to sort of focus on yourself and try and figure out, well, how do I get there? What did he do? What can I do to get there? Even if you don't like the person, I still think you just have to appreciate success, or at least I do, and credit where credit is due.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find it's all about drama. Drama's taken over. Everything's about drama. If you look back to wrestling, I used to think it was real. And then it came out that it wasn't real. And I was like, oh my God, it's shocking. And I had friends for years. It's real. And it was a big argument back and forth for years with my friends. It is real. No, it's not. It is real. No, it's not. And now it's kind of, it's not real. I think 99% believe this. But what if it came around that these Jake Paul fights are fake? And that even the UFC might be planned, like some of these comebacks. Oh my God, imagine if that happened, because fight of the night, bonus $100,000 in the drama. And I don't know if you watch these freaking shows that Ali watches, my sexy island adventure, or hot or not on this island, or I don't know what these things are called. They're all on islands and they're all dating each other. And I'm like, this gotta be planned. They gotta have been like, you come in there and you make out with that girl and that guy and make drama. Oh, yeah. And because it's exciting and you're watching, it's like, oh, it's reality. I'm like, babe, this is planned. This is staged. They probably told that. I'm like, I'm waiting for the guy to go and kiss the other guy. I'm like, I plan that. I get somebody in there, bisexual, go and make out with some guy. And then the girl finds out. That's what I want to see. And I'm like, so it's not, I just think it's all planned, stage. And if people find out later, what are they going to do? They're making their millions of dollars.
Exactly. Oh yeah, and reality TV is nonsense. Like, my girlfriend does exactly the same stuff, and you can see it coming. It's like when you're watching a stereotypical movie. You're like, that person's going to do this, and then that person's going to do that. But you're right, it's exactly the same thing. Nobody, I mean, I don't know whether you have it over here. The big show of that ilk over here is Love Island, which I'm sure is
the one.
Yeah.
Love Island.
Love Island, right?
I'm watching it every day with Ali, and I'm losing my mind. I'm like, what is going on over there? She makes me watch it. Now I'm addicted, but I'm waiting for, I'm like, if I was that guy, I'd walk over and kiss that other freaking dude, and everyone would be like, oh my God, and the whole thing. Because they're like, make out with the person that you want. Who do you want to have a threesome with? I'm like, he should go and make out with some dude.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious.
Because that's going to get the most headlines the next day.
That'd be some views. Everyone would be talking about that. I'm like, don't make out with the girl. Pick the guy. It's so good.
And it always works, right? I mean, I do not know how it translates across the pond, but there have been people that do Love Island over here. They come off the island and they are celebrities. Like, they are covered in collar inches. Yeah, their Instagram goes through the roof. I presume that's why they go on there, which is why, of course, you'd be down for doing whatever you were told and trying to make it look real. Because you're literally given the keys to the castle. Like, if you do this, we will turn you into a star. I want to be a star. That sounds absolutely great. So why couldn't it be the same with boxing? What we've essentially established here is that everything is just professional wrestling. And I have said this about a lot of stuff, like, because everyone goes, oh, wrestling's so fake. I'm like, man, everything's fake. Everything's fake. As long as you are getting something from it, it doesn't even matter. So I don't even understand what the point of Love Island is. Like, you go on there to find love, but then you can screw someone over for the money. Like, it's such a confusing concept.
Are they even paid money? They're paid, like, whoever gets a date at the end, they win. I don't know the concept. Love Island, I'm thinking, okay, I'm on the show and I'm going to have my Instagram's going to blow up. And if you have a sick body, I'm dieting for this. I'm going to go there. I'm not going to eat the entire week on this island. And like, the relationship, you're there for what? I don't know, a week? Is that real life? And then you leave. Who cares? You just do anything, say anything, cause drama. I'd be stirring up so much shit. I'd be saying it. I just want everyone to remember that guy, and I want to be back on that show because I'm just a troublemaker. That's what I'd be doing.
Absolutely. I just find the first person to walk up to him and just punch him right in the face. And then
that would be entertaining. Like, that's what you want.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be surprising if a producer said to one of the guys, go pick a fight with that guy. We really want you to pick a fight with that guy, because there's no way that doesn't happen. Not just on Love Island, but on reality TV shows altogether. Because if you could pull the strings, you would pull the strings. Again, I don't mean to sort of flog a dead horse, but that's why wrestling became wrestling, because some guy went, wouldn't this be better if we just decided what was going to happen? And someone went, yeah, that sounds really good. And surprise, surprise, people loved it. So yeah, I think that the drama debate is a really fascinating one, because people pretend they don't want drama, but people 100% want drama all of the flipping time.
It's all about drama. And even with YouTube channels, and I'm the drama queen when everyone knows I'm a friggin' circle. I'm not a man or woman. I'm a circle. Said this before. And it's like, why do you think I talk about drama? Because when I talk about a science video with Lane Norton or someone talking about studies and how they can be manipulated or whatever, no one's watching that. They want to see me say, this guy sucks and you're not natural and you did this and you said that and you're this. That's what people want. And then they say, well, why do you keep doing it? I'm like, because 200,000 views in science, 50,000 views. You are telling me what you want. And I'm telling you right now, if they staged everything, baseball and all that, there'd be way more views. I want to see 100 home runs in a year. You know, fake that the entire year, put that guy. I want to see in the 9th inning, it's 8-0, and they come back and win 9-8 because we watch movies and it's all, you know, obviously it's a movie, it's staged, it's planned. They're going to show us a baseball game and they're going to come back and it's shocking and oh my goodness, and people talk about it. And if Nate Diaz wins in the 5th round in the last punch 5 seconds before the fights after losing every round, that's what people are talking about. So fake reality is the new reality.
Totally. And again, it's all dramatic, isn't it? It's all, oh, I can't believe that happened. And oh, I can't believe he said that. And oh, I can't believe this went down. But I think ultimately, I don't know why people get so upset by it. As long as the intentions are good. Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody was just kind of create drama from, or making stuff up, then you can be like, well, no, that's not cool. But I think if somebody has something to say and you genuinely want to say it and you have the courage of your convictions to say it, that's the cool thing about YouTube, is that you can just go out there and say it and people can disagree with you and people can agree with you. And, obviously you recently, you've had, I don't call them beefs, that's a bit too much, but back and forth. But then you've interviewed the same people and you've had conversations with them. And it's like, oh, that's great. You see, so we can have these conversations. But no, I get that as well. I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. I haven't really had any of those sort of super dramatic videos on my channel. But every now and then when I do touch on a subject, oh, I can't believe you're talking about that. It's like, everyone's talking about it. Everyone, what do you want me to do? Just pretend that it's not happening? That would be ridiculous. And the reason everyone's talking about it is, like you say, is because there's that little bit of magic that is causing people to go on one side or the next, or there's something flamboyant about it or over the top. And yeah, that's what people love. I think, especially with YouTube, I think sometimes people can forget that it is just a free video service where anybody can put up any video. And ultimately, it doesn't actually matter what anybody says, because you can find another video instantly that will probably agree with your opinion anyway.
And drama's great, and I love drama. And the only thing I draw the line on is making shit up. I'm not going to make up a story that isn't true. I'm not going to lie to someone, but I'm going to tell you my opinion on it. And who wants to hear everything that they agree with? Who wants to hear just, I love this person, that person's so great, this is all. They want to hear, I disagree. Like, even think of my boy Will Tennyson. If he made a video and said, Greg Doucette's an idiot because he said, imagine how many people are watching that. It could be true or not, but like, that's drama that people would listen to. So when I talk about beef, so to speak, it's because people want to hear that. And anything controversial, that's where you get the most comments, the most likes. If I made video after video just saying what everyone already believes, every single person believes and agrees with me, I'm the liked guy. Oh, Greg, you said everything that, you're such a nice person. Yeah, that's cool. It takes more courage to say something that people are going to disagree with, knowing you're going to get hated on for saying it, and still actually say that, which is what I keep doing. And I know there's going to be mosquitoes and haters, but I have to accept that that's going to happen because I have the courage to at least say what I think, even if people are going to hate me for it.
Yeah, I think that's the key as well. I think that's probably one of the most endearing things about your channel in general and your videos, is that you can tell that it's an honest, genuine reaction or an opinion. And I think as long as somebody is speaking from the heart and they mean it, you just, again, as long as it's not completely disparaging, like, if you said something that was clearly, not, you never have, just for the record, but hypothetically speaking, if you said something that was just completely offensive, it'd be like, well, no, we can't do this. But that's the whole point. It's, as far as I can see, it's never got to that. It's like, here's what I think, and then a lot of the explosions come with the reaction to what you said. It's like, I can't believe that you said this. It's like, it's just an opinion, man. And I think he articulated it pretty well. But as we were talking about before we hit record, some people will just go into that comment section with this is what I'm saying, and no matter what you say to me, I will come up with the most ridiculous argument in order to prove myself right. But that's kind of half the fun with, I mean, fun's maybe not the right word, but that's just, if you're going to be successful on YouTube or in the social media space, you are going to get people coming at you like that. And if they don't come at you like that, you're probably doing something wrong, to be completely honest, because they're probably going around every single person saying, this is wrong, that's wrong, I don't agree with this. That's just what they want to do. And, you know, you have to have a thick skin to be in this game, as they say, but I don't get it. I don't think I've ever felt the need to absolutely destroy somebody in a YouTube comment ever. I'll comment and go, that was an interesting, or that was a really good video, but never to go, this was the biggest pile of crap. Who cares? Turn it off. The X is right there. Just turn it off and that person will vanish from your life.
And one thing I learned is you cannot win an argument. I literally could catch them on 4K doing it and prove and show, there's so much evidence, argue it perfectly, every study, everything, and say, here it is, and then the comment back is no, and then they straw man you and say something different and say this about it. So there's no point. I try to win arguments, and now I'm like, you can't win. And anyone that is against you or hates you, there is no bringing them back. Anyone that thinks that my cookbook is a cancer cookbook, they're not buying it. So why even try to convince them? So I don't worry about those people, but I try to do a defense against certain things to explain it to people who are on the fence. Like, they're not haters, they're just not sure. Those are the people that you can kind of win over and come to your side and believe what you're saying. But you can't convince the haters. If somebody just purely, I just hate you, there's no bringing them back.
No, it's true, because they want to hate you. That's it. That's their job for the day, and they'll always watch your videos. They'll always watch them regardless, but it comes from a very negative place. And, you know, for people that do watch my stuff, you know, I've spent not only my career, but my life trying to come from a positive place, because you soon realize when look, you'd be a great example, right? We talked about this as well. One of the reasons I started doing my fitness videos, I've done a few, but I thought, well, this Greg Doucette guy's doing it, and I'm really enjoying them. Why shouldn't I give that a go? That to me is a far better way to live your life. You know, this guy has inspired me to do something, now I'm going to try as well, as opposed to, Greg Doucette being successful. But what do you get out of that? What do you get? Because I'm sure because I've seen sort of some of your old videos where it's kind of just you and a camera, kind of just starting out on YouTube. And I'm sure when you were doing them, you would never, I'm sure you hoped it would get to where it is now. But I'm sure my point being is, now when you look back, I'm sure you're a bit like, how the flub did I do this? I can't quite believe I've managed to have this thing explode to the point where I've got 1 million subscribers and a cookbook and everything else.
I honestly can't believe I got 100,000 subscribers, and I can't even believe that I actually got 10,000. Was just like shocking, really. I mean, everything was shocking to me. So, and it kind of goes back to that whole, like, enjoy the journey, not the destination. Because I can tell you, when I got 100,000 subscribers, it was just as exciting or more than when I got 1 million. There was no difference. The rise was so exciting and fun. And so I don't see it as like, if I got 10 million, I wouldn't be more excited than one. Like, there's no difference. So I just do what I do because I like making these videos and I like seeing what's happening. And I do have a lot of haters, but honestly, I might have 100,000 haters out of millions of people that watch videos. It's not too bad. Those haters help me more than the people that like me. I mean, obviously the people that like my videos, it's what I like, but as far as promoting the channel or doing good things for me, the people that write the hate comments, they're the ones that push you further, because then all the people that are like, wait a minute, that person helped me lose weight, they motivated me, they did this, they come to your defense and quickly write. And then that comment section gets these hundreds of messages of back and forths among people, and those comments, they drive the algorithm, and that just keeps helping. So the more haters I have, the more non-haters I'll get. It's kind of weird, but there's gonna always be those haters on the rise, but that's really helping my channel. So all the haters out there, keep hating. You're helping me more than you know.
It's like a weird science experiment. The more haters I have, the more non-haters I get. It doesn't make any sense. On that note though, because obviously, a lot of we'll go with hate because that's the word we're using. You mentioned the cookbook and people going, oh, it's the worst cookbook ever. Why did you start that? Because an e-cookbook it's one of those ideas where you're like, well, that's just the simplest idea ever. Why didn't I think of that? But truly, there was a few sort of dotted around the internet, but none that sort of sit on top of the mountain like yours does. I mean, I'm sure you've talked about it before and I've just missed it. But yeah, why did you decide, you know what, today is the day. I'm going to take all these cool recipes that I've been mucking around with over the years. I'm going to put them in a cookbook and I'm going to throw it out there.
Well, I honestly was coaching so many people, and I couldn't handle that many clients anymore, and I would keep upping my prices for coaching because I was like, I just can't handle it. And I was talking about my diet and saying you don't need to eat chicken, broccoli, and rice. And for years, like decades here, I've been the weird bodybuilder that would eat the French toast and the popcorns and the fancy recipes. And everyone's like, this doesn't work. And then I was coaching people after people like IFBB pros and so on, and they were eating like me, and it was working. And so it started to take off, and it's like, wait a minute. Like, why are we eating this way? That Coach Greg guy, that makes sense. So I wanted to share that to more people. And I was like, I can't just keep coaching more people. That's not going to happen. So with this cookbook, you can put it out on the internet, and people will buy it. And I honestly was going to charge way more money. Like, people were like, oh my God, it was $99. I was like, it has to be at least $199. It has to be, I was thinking maybe 500 to like at least, because I was charging a fair bit of money for coaching plans. I'm like, but if I put out this book, no one's going to hire me because they're going to have all my recipes. That's the whole point of my coaching. Yeah, like the whole point of my coaching was to show people you don't need to eat this way. And if once the book's there, well, they won't hire me for coaching. And I was making a good amount of money coaching. Like, that was my main income earning thing. So I was scared to put out this cookbook because I'm like, well, what if no one hires me for coaching? I won't make any money because my book will be out there. So I kept the price, somewhat reasonable, somewhere between being really cheap and really expensive. So at $100. And when it came out, it was all the mosquitoes. Jerk, how dare you charge that much? And I'm like thinking, but if I didn't, well, I might lose money on this because I'm losing all my coaching. So that's literally how it all came about and why I did it. And I'm glad I did because, now I coach even less and I do even more of these recipes. New ones are coming out. It's the way to do it.
An interesting thing you said there too is like, is that actually the thing? So obviously you're doing your pro bodybuilding and stuff, and everyone's doing chicken, broccoli, rice, and you're doing the French toast and the chicken wraps. Were they actually like, oh, it's crazy Greg with his crazy recipes?
100%. Everyone, like, I started in my kind of like in Halifax here, like, and I was coaching, and there was a lot of different coaches, and I was a bodybuilder, and we all coach a certain way. And then some people were hiring me, and they were showing their friends, like, let me see your diet, and they'd be like, well, it's this, and they're like, how can you eat that? And I'd be at the gym, they're like, what are you eating? Broccoli and white fish, and I'm like, pfft. I was like, I'm eating popcorn and peanut butter and jam sandwiches, or well, what? And then I'm winning the show. So being able to win myself and having my clients do so well, that really pushed it. And then other coaches, when they know what happens, they start stealing all your recipes and start copying. And that of course happened. And it kept going and got bigger and bigger. And then when I got on YouTube, I'm like, I'm going to just, because I could only coach so many people locally. So that's literally, I got on YouTube to try to get more people to hire me for coaching. I didn't think, oh, there's some book I'm going to make. I went on YouTube and started making videos, kind of like Jeff Nippard, trying to sound smart and doing my thing, talking about the whole thing. And I'm like, no one's watching me. I'm giving out the information. I don't have the science editing and the stuff like these guys. So I'm like, just like, I don't know what to do. And so I gave up. I was like, this is just too hard. And I'm like, screw it. I'm going to put a freaking phone on a can of tuna, and I'm going to talk, and I'm going to rant, and then I'm going to say it the way I think, and I'm going to give a shit about sounding smart. I'm just going to talk out of my head. And that's what people liked. And so over the years, people are like, look how different Greg is. He talks different. He does this. He's not real. I'm like, well, before I did videos and I was trying to be like, well, I have to be like this and like that and talk perfect.
Yeah.
And so I've changed into what I wanted to do from the get-go, but didn't have the courage to do it because I thought, well, people are going to see my videos, and if I don't sound smart, they're going to make fun of me and the whole thing. And I'm like, once I said, I don't give a shit if you like this video or not, I was just going to say what I think. That's when it took off. So my big advice to people, don't care what people are going to think. Say what you want to say. Just don't be a complete asshole. Don't wish, harm on other people. Don't make fun of people's children and stuff like some people have done. But, speak your mind and say what you think and back it up. Don't lie. And that's what I've done. And I think that's the best advice.
Oh, totally. Especially the way you mentioned how you evolved as a YouTuber. Like, I get that all the time. Because if you go back and watch my super early videos, I'm talking about sort of way back when I was just learning about, it wasn't even about fitness. I was terrified. Of course I was. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So you watch other people and you try and copy them. Whereas now, I feel more comfortable in my own skin, or whatever the right word would be. And I get people message me going, you're so fake now, Simon, with that fake voice. I'm like, no, this is my real voice. The other one was the fake voice because I was trying to put on almost like a TV presenter voice. That's what, oh, hello. And I thought that's what you had to do. But now they think, I get it all the time. Your voice is fake. And my voice is fake? Do you know how hard that would be? Every time I did a video, I got to think, right, where was my voice last time I did it? But honestly, every YouTuber I know that has become successful has gone through that. They start off and they're like, got to be like Jeff Nippard, got to be like this guy, got to be like that guy. But then when they just do it more and it becomes more comfortable, then the real person comes out and there's always that guy going, he's sold out. He's like, no, this is me now, damn it. It's so frustrating. But look, I don't even, fair play to them, right? If they want to engage with anything like that, good, because YouTube likes engagement. So just kind of keep doing it. But I do think that's fascinating about the diet stuff, because of course, when I started lifting weights, that's all I did. All I did was chicken, rice, broccoli, ate way too much rice, got way overweight, didn't know what was going on, and it absolutely sucked. And then when all of a sudden it was twofold. When you do learn that you could have a bit more fun with your diet, like, oh man, this is great. But also when it gets backed up, that's why that was my thing about the cookbook. I thought the cookbook was so good because it was coming from somebody who could literally show off medals and trophies and records and say, well, I ate like this and I got like this. So even if you don't want to believe it or it doesn't work for you, that's cool. But it absolutely can work for you, and I thought that was massively important, because I still get that now when I say, I lift weights, and they're like, oh, do you just like don't eat any carbs and just eat chicken all the time? It's like, that's a stupid diet. If you did that, you're not going to have any muscle. You're going to be the tiniest person ever. But, breaking that stigma down, I always thought is important, because it gets more people into the gym. And there is I hate the term, but there is a gatekeeper community around the gym that wants to keep people out. And then there are a select few, but I hate them. I hate them so much. It's like, man, we all came into this place sucking. Every single one of us came in as a weedy kid or whatever it was, not knowing what the hell we were doing. And the fact that you now want to own that space, I can't stand it. It drives me nuts.
Absolutely. Fitness is for everyone. And I wonder if you noticed this. Do you notice how a lot of us, me and you, because I watch a lot of your videos, other people like Derek, we all have similar topics? Do you notice how that comes up with, we all have similar topics, and I've been accused of, I'm stealing other people's ideas and topics a lot. And I'm like, sometimes I see their video and I actually do the same video. Other times I did the video and they did the same one. But I just noticed how almost all the YouTubers tend to go over the same topics. And I have a theory. Something comes out like a study and we all get it. And we have people that watch my channel, your channel, our channels, and they recommend, I don't know if you get ideas from your subs and your fans. I get that. And we are all presented the same thing. They probably write me and they write you and they write Derek and they write everybody. Talk about this person, this weight loss, this study. And so we end up with all the same videos. And people are probably thinking we're all stealing each other's idea, but it's just, that's what's trending in the world. And that's just what we happen to talk about.
Yeah, I get it all the time. I got it the other day. Someone said, Miller, you're just Greg Doucette, more plates, more dates light. And I was like, there's only so many things I could, if I don't talk about what they're talking about, the channel is just going to be sat at a camera looking at you. Because, the thing is, even if you came on here right now and said, Simon, I steal all your ideas.
I woke up this morning, put on Simon Miller's video talking about Hulk Hogan. And I was like, that sounds great. I want to do a video about this. Yeah, we get video ideas from other YouTubers.
I'd be like, good, great, because I stole them from somebody else. Like it's a compliment, absolutely. But I didn't make up any of these things. They're real things that are happening in the world that just happen to land on my doorstep. So no, I don't understand that at all. I find that a really odd criticism. If anything, I think it's cool. Like if an interesting topic comes out, I want to know what you're going to say about it, or Derek, or Shredded Science, or whoever. I want to know what's their take on it. Do they agree with me? Sometimes I'll do a video on it, and then I'll watch yours, and you'll have a different take, and I'll go, "Was I wrong?" And I think that's great. I think it's great to question yourself like that and kind of take other people's information into it. And there are some things that you just have to talk about, like they just absolutely are. I mean, I know I mentioned him earlier, but when the sort of we all clamored to try and pull V-Shred off his pedestal. I think that was an important cause to try and make sure. So it wasn't just one person saying it, we're all saying it. But then I also think we all bring our own individual personality and trait to that subject, which I do get that all the time though. One person said the other day, Simon, you'll never get as big as Greg or Derek because you just rip off their stuff all the time. And that's just like, I don't even know what that means. What are you talking about? But again, it's what we said earlier. That person, what I don't get is, what are you mad about? Let's say that I did. Let's say I watched one of your videos and I just did my own version. You can get mad, but why is this other person mad? I don't get it. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, haters just want to hate. And I find it's funny because when I was a smaller YouTuber, by smaller, like, under 100,000, I could do any video and everyone loved every video. And then as you get bigger, all of a sudden they want to shit on you. When you're a smaller channel, you're underrated. Your channel is so oh my goodness, you should have way more followers. And then when you get them, oh, why do people like you? You were good in 2020. You're so old news. No one's watching your channel. And I'm on Social Blade every week and I get 15 to 16 million views a month. And I'm like, I'm literally more popular than I was 4 months ago, but all the comments are, you're a has-been, you're washed up, you have no good topics, we don't like you anymore. And I'm like, I'm doing the exact same stuff I've always done. Like, sorry.
I love how people care about your view count. Isn't that amazing? They're going through each one of your videos going, well, that was 200,000, but that was 175. Oh, that's 400. It's like the view count on YouTube is a flip of a coin anyway. It depends what mood YouTube's in that day to begin with. So, there is no point. Of course, you need to focus on it because you're a businessman and that's your analytics and your metrics and your numbers. And if things drop, you need to look at all what do I need to do? But outside of that, nobody should be worrying about what the hell anybody is doing on YouTube. I think, and I'm going to sound well cheesy now, but I mean it. I think the worst thing about YouTube is you do get these crazy big numbers and you forget about that one individual person that is watching it going, oh man, isn't this great? Because you don't see that after a while. It's like you said, you got 10,000, then all of a sudden it's 50,000, 100,000, and you kind of just get lost in this numerical fantasy land. But, the things that I love the most. So some days, of course, I'm a human being. I'm like, oh, the channel's not doing very well. Or it did better last month. What have I done wrong? And then you get an Instagram DM or a Twitter DM or an email. Someone just saying, oh, man, Simon, I watched this video. It really inspired me to go back to the gym. And you're like, boom, there you go. Obviously, we need to make money from this stuff. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do it. But knowing that actual core message still gets through to people, that's the greatest thing ever. And when I read, I still can't believe that anybody, I got one the other day with somebody saying that they started watching my fitness videos because they see my wrestling videos and they weren't into fitness, but it was inspired them to go back to the gym. And I was like, I'll put that on my gravestone. Like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Absolutely. You got to remember the good things, forget the bad. As far as I'm just thinking of comments. So I used to write comments all the time. I'd read all the people, I'd comment. I'm like, I'm going to be engaged. I'm going to show you that I care about what you're saying. All this. Wow. You respond to everybody. I was reading every single comment. Now I write a comment. You're a narcissist. You read people's comments and you respond. And I'm like, when I started, that was one of my best qualities, and I want to show that I still care and I read comments, but now I'm just a narcissist because I'm doing exactly what I did my entire life, doing these YouTube comments, and you can't win. So you just got to, you focus on the good, just forget the shit.
Exactly. You can't win. It's the same way that people are going to accuse you of being on every drug under the sun, even though you have been completely transparent about your current protocol. But they've already decided. Because again, it ties to what we said earlier. It makes them feel better about their own physiques or their own things they're struggling with, which really is kind of sad, because it would be great if they were able to get in touch with that and actually go and get help and put them, that sounds way more dramatic than I meant it to, but I meant get themselves back into a more positive place where they could actually, just take information at face value, as aside from getting really, really upset about it. But, it's the nature of the beast when it comes to YouTube. And I almost take it as a compliment these days that anybody wants to say anything on my videos. So if it's good, great. If it's bad, great. The fact that you care and you're that engaged enough that you wanted to tell me this, I always take that moment and go, let that initial frustration just calm down, and remember how really cool it is that even if this person thinks you're the worst human being on the planet, they still took time out of their day to let you know that you suck. I was like, you know what? Thank you very much.
I mean, and taking this analogy back to wrestling, it takes, I think, more talent to be the villain, to go out there and get the entire crowd booing at you and hating you, and that's your role. And bring it, you suck, the whole thing. So when somebody takes the time to watch my video, press the dislike button, and make a comment, you just watched my video and commented, helped you out. How can I ask for more than that? I mean, really.
Exactly. And I remember there was a channel, I can't remember what it was years ago now, somebody in the comments I'm sure will know it, where his whole goal was just getting as many dislikes as he could. But YouTube didn't know that. YouTube just knew, oh man, interaction, engagement, and his channel did great. And I thought that was, wonderful. So, I mean, YouTube is a crazy, crazy thing. It really, really is. But the reason I love it is for many reasons. Like, I started doing fitness stuff, say a year and a half ago. And if you had told me March 2020, I think it was, that here we would be in September 2021 and we'd be having a chat, I'd be like, well, that sounds like a pretty good progression. That sounds like a pretty good thing to aim for. So it really does have a lot of good in it. Like, I love how it kind of, the bad does overweigh the good just because the bad people are so loud, but there is just so much good in it. And again, I just think it's awesome that it can lead to places like this.
Yeah, and I mean, as soon as you said that some people are trying to get negativity, I was thinking, is that Vegan Gains? Like, literally, I'm thinking, is that his goal? And how do we know he's not a mastermind and he's faking the whole thing? He's planning, he's like, the only way I can get people to like me is to be hated. And so he says all these things, but then he takes it too far. Like, how do we know? Like, maybe, like, he's done probably 10 videos of hating me, like, so much. But maybe if I met him in real life, maybe he'd be like, hey, man, like, who knows? We don't know how people act. Like, some of these natty or nots I've done on people, like Cali Muscle and, different guys, and they just, like, they hate me. Chef Rush, he didn't like me so much.
Oh, yeah.
If I saw these guys, would they be like, yo, I hate you? Or would they be like, cool? Like, who knows? I don't know.
I think people are a lot more angry on the internet than they are in real life. Like, I've only had one, I won't name names because it's not fair, but there was one guy who used to just rinse me in the rest. It was a wrestling guy. He used to just rinse me, and then I bumped into him when I was over in America years ago for a wrestling show, and he was the nicest guy ever. I was like, dude. And then I watched his show the next week, rinsing me again. I was just like, so ridiculous. But I thought to myself, good for him. If that's getting him some kind of traction, I will take that as a massive compliment.